Right now, sitting exactly where you are, your body is losing. Not to a lion, not to the cold, to a human being who died 30,000 years ago and never once saw a wall, a doctor, or a full night's sleep. Here's the test. We take you, and we take an ordinary ancient human, a hunter-gatherer, nothing special for their time, and we put your bodies side by side, strength, teeth, brain, eyes, lungs, round by round, same species, same blueprint, 30,000 years apart. You're going to lose. Not one round down at those, not one, almost all of them. And the strange part isn't that you lose, it's why. Because the reason is not that you got lazy or soft or spent too long on a couch. The real answer is stranger than that. And by the end of this, you're going to see your own body as something that was quietly, deliberately changed. And understand exactly what you were changed into. Let's ring the bell. Round 1, strength. And let's make this as humbling as possible right away. You're not arm wrestling a mammoth hunter. You're arm wrestling a woman, a farming woman from about 7,000 years ago whose whole life was grinding grain by hand, hauling, digging, and carrying. And you are going to lose. We know this because of a study out of Cambridge led by Alison McIntosh and Colin Shaw. They compared the arm bones of prehistoric women to living athletes, including the Cambridge Women's Rowing Squad, people who trained 7 or 8 times a week. The bones of Neolithic women weren't just competitive with elite rowers. In arm strength, they were beyond them, on the order of 11 to 16% stronger, and some far more than that. Bone remodels to the loads you put on it. Their arms were built by a lifetime of relentless manual work no gym can copy. Yours were built by typing and lifting a phone. So in round 1, an average woman from the Stone Age quietly breaks your grip. Ancient 1, you 0. It only gets worse. Round 2. Open your mouth. If you've had braces, crooked teeth, or your wisdom teeth cut out, I need you to understand how bizarre that actually is. Because when we dig up the skulls of ancient hunter-gatherers, we find something that almost never happens today. Straight teeth. Rows of them neatly aligned with almost no cavities. And a jaw with enough room that the wisdom teeth, all 4, just came in and fit, the way they were supposed to. Your jaw can't do that. Roughly 1 in 4 modern people has wisdom teeth that don't fit at all. Crooked teeth and bad bites are so normal, we built an entire industry around straightening them. So what changed? Not your genes, your childhood. The biologist Daniel Lieberman calls things like this mismatch diseases. A growing jaw is like a muscle. It needs hard, tough chewing to reach full size. Ancient kids gnawed raw, fibrous, gritty food for hours a day. You grew up on soft, cooked, processed food that asks almost nothing of your jaw. So your jaw grew up small, too small for the teeth nature still sends. Ancient 2. You. Still 0. And now it gets weird. Round 3, and this is the one that should stop you. Because up to now, you've had a comfortable excuse. Weaker arms, smaller jaw. Sure, modern life is soft, that explains it. It does not explain this. Your brain is smaller than an ancient human's. Not your imagination, the actual physical organ. Measure the inside of skulls across the last 20 to 30,000 years, and the average human brain has shrunk. Estimates vary, but it's in the ballpark of 10%. Very roughly, a tennis ball-sized chunk of volume, gone. Now, I have to be honest with you the way most videos won't, because this is where people oversimplify. Scientists genuinely argue about why. Some think it tracks with our bodies getting a little smaller. Some think it's about efficiency. A better wired brain doesn't need to be as big. And a leading idea is that we offloaded thinking onto the group. You don't need to hold every survival fact in your own skull when the tribe remembers for you. The shrinking is real. The reason is still a live debate. But here's what makes this round matter. A soft couch does not shrink a brain over thousands of years. Something was selecting for a smaller brain. And there is one process in nature famous for producing exactly this combination. Smaller teeth, a shorter face, a lighter skeleton, and a smaller brain, all at once. You've seen it. You just never turned it on yourself. Here's the twist this whole video was built around. That package, smaller teeth, shorter face, more delicate bones, a smaller brain, a gentler temperament, has a name. Biologists call it domestication syndrome. It's what you get when you turn a wild animal into a tame one. Compare a wolf to a dog. A dog has a shorter snout, smaller teeth, floppier features, and a brain roughly 10 to 30% smaller than a wolf's. Nobody sat down and designed that. In the 1950s, a Soviet scientist named Dmitry Belyaev, with the researcher Lyudmila Trut, started breeding silver foxes for one single trait: friendliness toward humans. Nothing else. And within a handful of generations, the foxes started changing on their own. Floppy ears, patchy coats, shorter faces, smaller skulls. Select for tameness, and the whole syndrome comes along for free, like a bundle you didn't ask for. Now look back at yourself. Compared to older, more archaic humans, your face is shorter, your brow ridge is softer, your skeleton is more delicate, your brain is smaller. The anthropologist Robert Sierre and his colleagues showed that human skulls became gentler and more juvenile right around the time our behavior became fully modern. The conclusion a lot of researchers, including Richard Wrangham, have reached is genuinely wild. Nobody domesticated us. We domesticated ourselves. We became our own tame animal, and the rest of your body is still carrying the receipt. So let's keep going, because now every round means something more. Round 4, your senses. Look far away, really far, and hold something in sharp focus at the horizon. An ancient human could do that effortlessly, their whole life. A huge share of you can't, not without glasses or contacts or surgery. Nearsightedness, myopia, has exploded into a modern epidemic. In some cities, 80, even 90% of young people are nearsighted. In hunter-gatherers, it's close to zero. And again, it's not that their eyes were magic, it's that a growing eye needs the right signal to stop at the right shape, and that signal is bright, outdoor daylight, plus looking into the distance. Ancient children got a flood of both all day. You grew up indoors, staring at things a foot from your face under dim artificial light. So your eyeball quietly grew too long, and the world went blurry. It's the same story every single time. Your body expected the ancient world. Hard food, bright sun, long distances, constant load, and it got the modern one instead. Ancient 4, you 0. But hold on, because you're about to win a round, and it's the most important one in the whole fight. Actually, not yet. Round 5 first, because I can't skip this one. Endurance. You get winded climbing a few flights of stairs. But your species is one of the greatest long-distance runners that has ever lived. Not the fastest. A squirrel can outsprint you. The longest. Over enough distance, a fit human can run a horse into the ground. The researchers Dennis Bramble and Daniel Lieberman laid this out in the journal Nature. Your body is covered in specialized running hardware. Springy tendons like the Achilles. A special ligament that steadies your head as you run. Huge glute muscles that only really fire when you run. And millions of sweat glands on bare skin that let you dump heat while you move. Four-legged animals can't pant and gallop at the same time. You can sweat and keep going. Our ancestors used this. It's called persistence hunting. You don't outrun the antelope, you chase it at a steady jog, through the heat, for hours, until its body overheats and it collapses because it can't cool down, and you can. That machine is still inside you. You're just running it on an escalator. Ancient 5, you 0. Now, finally, you're round. Round 6, and you win it. But not in the way you'd hope. Drop a wound on an ancient human, a deep cut, a bad tooth, a gut infection, and it could kill them. A scratch that you'd rinse and forget could turn into a death sentence because they had no antibiotics, no clean water on tap, no vaccines. Half of all children died before growing up. You live, on average, twice as long as they did. In raw survival of the modern world, you win, easily. Point to you. But there's a deeper win hiding here, and it's the key to everything. Right now, you can sit inside a metal tube, 7 miles up, packed shoulder to shoulder with 200 complete strangers, and simply not attack any of them. That sounds like nothing. It is not nothing. A cage of 200 wild chimpanzees would be a bloodbath before landing. Somewhere along the way, we became the most cooperative, most strangely tolerant animal on the planet. And that, not muscle, not eyesight, is your true superpower. It's also the exact thing you were domesticated for. So let's total it up. Strength, ancient. Teeth, ancient. Brain, ancient. Eyes, ancient. Endurance, ancient. Your body lost almost every round, to a person from the Stone Age, decisively. But now you know it wasn't laziness, and it wasn't an accident. It was a trade. Somewhere in our past, the humans who survived and had the most children weren't the strongest or the most aggressive. They were the ones who could get along, who could sit around a fire with strangers, share, cooperate, and not kill the person next to them over an insult. We bred ourselves, generation after generation, for tolerance, and tameness came as a package deal. The softer face, the smaller teeth, the lighter body, the smaller brain. You gave up the raw power of the wild human. In exchange, you got the one thing the wild human never could have built. A city of 1 million strangers. Science. Language passed across 10,000 years. This video reaching you right now. The ancient human would win the fight. You won the future. So the next time your wisdom teeth ache, or you reach for your glasses, or you're out of breath on the stairs, remember what those flaws actually are. They're the price of admission to the most powerful thing life on Earth has ever done. Us, getting along. Quick final scorecard. For the record, arm strength, you lose to a farmer who died before the pyramids. Teeth, theirs are straight, yours needed a specialist. Brain, theirs is bigger, and we're still arguing about why. Eyesight, they see the horizon, you see a blur without help. Endurance, they run a deer to death, you take the elevator. And cooperation, that one's yours, and it's the only one that ever built anything. Final score, the wild human wins the body, you win the world. Honestly, take the trade. So here's my question for the comments, and be honest. If you could swap, trade all of this back for the body of an ancient human, stronger, sharper, tougher, but wild, would you actually do it? Tell me, I really want to know. If you made it this far, you already know how this channel works. Subscribe to Bygone. We do this every week, following the strange story of how humans survived every age. And if you want to know what that ancient body could do that yours can't even attempt, the things it endured that would break you in a day, that's exactly where we're going next.